What's up, Saints and Aints? Welcome back to another episode of Music and Makeup. This episode, I'm reviewing new music from Boldy James and Real Bad Man, Knowledge the Pirate and Roc Marciano, and Stargiela and 183rd. And on the makeup, I'm using Danessa Myricks Colorfix for a yellow, bold summertime eye. They said yellow, butter yellow is like the color of the summer, so we're gonna see if I can pull it off. Without further ado, Saints and Aints, let's jump into this episode. All right, I'm gonna go and create like a little transitional space using the Max Skin Finish Bronzer in the shade, what shade is this? In the shade Rich Golden. So Boldy James and Real Bad Man have recently dropped a new project called Conversational Pieces. I've been anticipating this one since it was announced, primarily because I liked their Real Bad Boldy project, especially the song Light Bill. So I was happy to see them reunited for this. The album itself is 13 tracks and there's features from Conway the Machine, Dreamcast, Mo, and LP. So let's jump into what I loved about this album. Now, first off, starting with It Factor featuring LP. Now, that is one of like the standout tracks on this album. First of all, the beat is just smooth as hell. And it's the perfect background for Boldy's like really conversational type of flow. I love the hook on this too. Pull up, big raptor, bag full of Ritz crackers. Niggas trying to steal my image and got the it factor. And honey, if it's one thing I hate, it's a fucking copycat. But it's always all good because people can copy you, but it ain't you. So, and sometimes that's it. They don't have the it factor. It will never work out for them because they're not you. And I always tell people, don't get mad about nobody copying you. They're not you. They can do all the steps verbatim, but because it's not you, it's gonna fall flat for him every single time. I also like when LP says, call me underrated again, and I'm digging a hole, because I sometimes feel like when y'all call somebody underrated, it feels backhanded, like you saying, oh, like nobody knows about you, like you're great, but you're not popping. It might not be that at all, but it could be interpreted that way as somebody, because someone might think, you know, I don't feel like I'm underrated. Like folks is fucking with me, and then here you come talking about no one appreciates you. So I don't know. I feel him though. You don't call me that. All right, so now I'm going to go on the lid. I'm using the Danessa Myricks Colorfix Matte, and this is in the shade Lemonade. Lemon diamond chain with a V cup. Oh, this would have been good for a Gucci episode, but we doing it now. So I also fuck with this next song, Bag It Up. The beat has like this vaporwave Miami Vice type of feeling to it. And throughout Boldy's verse, like he's basically shouting out like a number of West Coast rappers like Snoop, DOC, Goldie Loc, Dub C, and etc. All right, so now I'm going to blend this out. First, using from the Juvia's Place Culture 2 palette, the shade Rojoba. I have no idea, but it's this yellow shade here. The reason I am doing this is because the Colorfix tends to dry very fast, and to kind of get the harsh line out, I'm gonna use something that's close to it instead of trying to just blend it out with another color. Say Less is one of my favorite songs on here. It's one of those where Boldy just jumps like immediately in and found his pocket. The beat for this is fire too. The bass and those strains of the organ like give it this real groove. And you know, putting my fake A&R hat on here too. If they ever did a remix of this song, I really feel like they should get Pusha T. And my favorite line on this song, and don't everybody get offended because he's talking about the street, but where he says, on the dike grinding minus the strap on my lap case I gotta get my slap on. Come on now, that was real clever wordplay. Okay, so we had to do some adjustment because the Colorfix just dried too fast on me. Now I'm trying to blend this out using the shade Masai from the Culture 2 palette. It's an orange color. All right, this is where we landed with the eyeshadow. I don't know what's going on. We have abandoned the yellow eye look. Now it's like a sunset situation. I'm about to throw some shimmer on it because the Colorfix dried on me entirely too fast and blending was just a mess. But fuck it, we ball. I think I'm gonna use this Kingdom here from the same palette. So the title track Conversational Pieces is like my second favorite song on this album. First of all, I love the beat. It reminds me of like something you would hear on like a soap opera or sitcom like score. Think of Days of Our Lives. And my favorite line on here is, I'm meeting with Brew and my little brother David West. I tamed the dog, taught it how to sit and make it fetch. I like that. All right, so let's put this, let's see about this. I'm gonna actually wet my brush first using the Studio Fix because I find that pigments just go on better that way. All right, and we're just gonna tap it right here where the blending in the yellow part. All right, so this is where we landed with the eyeshadow. Am I in love with it? Not necessarily, but it is what it is. Conversational Pieces is out on all streaming platforms. I believe they got a vinyl drop too, so go check that out. I tagged it in the description. If you've already listened to it, let me know in the comments what you think. What are your favorite songs? All right, so we pulled this eyeshadow off. Let's hope the rest of this look goes smoother. So now I'm gonna prime and apply my blurring balm powder. I'm gonna start priming with the NYX face glue. Love this to infinity to infinity. It helps my makeup stay on so good. I've been killing my eyeshadow all week. Didn't film it. Sit down to film and I'm just help. So we have new music from Knowledge the Pirate, the new album entitled The Round Table, and it's produced in its entirety by Roc Marciano. I told y'all in a previous episode he was jumping into his producer bag. I saw he has a song too he produced by with Ab Soul. I'm so glad that they did this project together because I'm a fan of them both working together. Bohemian Grove and Tom Chambers both have a very special place in my heart. So I was excited to hear what they were going to do on this album, and they work really well together and it shows through the music. I remember hearing Roc Marcy say at his show at SOB that he makes music with the people that he loves and it's easier that way, and it reflects on this project. Let's jump into my favorites on this album. Alright, so I'm going to use Juvia's Place bronzer. This is in the shade Cocoa, and I'm just going to go where I want the glow of my face to land, which is usually just around here when I put the highlight on. And I'm going to shear this out on my hand and work it into my brush nice and even because that keeps it from being so streaky. Now, I love the song Addicted to Danger. Now, one of the first things that pulled me into this song was the beat. It has the feeling of something you would hear like in a black film in the 1970s. Think Shaft or like Superfly. This just feels like one of those movie scores. And then you have Knowledge's voice, which is like the perfect companion, what have you. It just, this whole song's got that kind of just cool ass vibe. Now on the first verse of this song and a few other songs on here, we get the element of storytelling, and he tells the story of a young man who for all intents and purposes we would say is troubled and has having some issues, which basically leads to him robbing and unaliving like a very popular drug dealer that makes a lot of money, and that led to retaliation, and which led to his brother being killed, and he doesn't really have anybody else to turn to because his father has been in jail since he was little. His mom is on, the devils, and he doesn't have a family because of these sets of circumstances in his life that this caused this young man to turn to gang activity because that is where he was able to find a family. That's why I say storytelling is an important element to songwriting because I feel like it really keeps people engaged and interested in your song. Not all the time, and it always had to be a story, but if you're trying to engage your audience and just blend this out. I find that this has worked so much better for me if I put the blurring balm powder on first, because before my shit was looking streaky and I could not figure out why. Now I'm going to go in and color correct using the Danessa Myricks Waterproof Cream Palette. This is the Essentials palette with all of the colors you need to highlight and contour. I just like to use it for color correction. This is shade number 4. And it's like got a nice light peach situation to it. Now the outfit is another song that I like from off of here. Like Addicted to Danger, it has that same like 1970s music feel. Like this is like what I would consider riding music, okay? And my favorite line on here, my shooter hungry on that dumb shit. He gonna mash you like potatoes soon as I pass him that drumstick. I love the wordplay there. We also get a feature from Roc Marcy on here, and he of course scorches his verse per usual. It's time for blush. I'm gonna be using the Patrick Ta blush in the shade She Knows Who She Is. Since this is a real glittery eye, I'm gonna keep the rest of the makeup kind of neutral, just not too overwhelmed. Now, I said earlier that there were other songs on this album that had the element of storytelling, and Food for Thought is one of those songs. This has to be my favorite song on this album, and this beat is just hypnotically sweet. I ain't singing it now, but I go around singing this jank all throughout the house. It is my little vocal stem. And so now I'm going to apply my highlight using the shade Amande by Nars. Now the first verse is about a gentleman whose lady friend was in a scandal, we'll just say as it were, and he paid someone to take care of the person that started the rumor or that was involved, whatever the case may be. And that person ended up snitching and going to the police, and that person ends up snitching, and so now he's in jail, and his girl is out dating 2 more of his friends, a scandalous queen. And I noticed too that each of these stories highlight someone either winning or losing, and it has to do all on how they played their circumstances and how things played out. And I'm going to go in and apply my Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Tint. This is in the shade 14. I'm just gonna put this everywhere I did not put product, basically. I do my entire chin because that'll just show up underneath. I also like the song Receipts. That's what's playing now. Again, the beat for this is just A1, perfect for knowledge. And I love the piano loop. And on the hook, basically, he's telling y'all, you know, all about the money that he's made, and that, you know, put the hood on and took care of people and did, you know, what I like to call the right thing. And he's got the receipts. But yeah, this is a perfect way to end the album. Nice wrap up. All right, this is where I landed with the skin tint. The Round Table is out now on vinyl and on all streaming platforms. But if you know, like I know, go ahead and copy one of those vinyls. It'll last longer. Then let me know in the comments if you've heard the album and what you think. I'm going to set my under eye first using the Pat McGrath Sublime Under Eye Pressed Powder. Of course, yes, it's in 2 pieces because the thing is made of glass. I'm just going to use a brush here to pat this in. So we have new music from Stargiela and 183rd called Star of the Ghetto. And this is a nice follow-up to his last release, Hard Leather, which has been in rotation around here. So go check that out too. That one you gotta purchase. I don't believe that's on streaming. But let's jump into a few of my favorites from this album here. So now I'm going to go back in and set my cream blush. I know Patrick Todd says do the powder first and the cream. I just can't, baby. My brain ain't set up that way. So now I'm gonna go back and put powder blush on to set my cream blush. I really like the song The Last Time, the beat in particular. This one has been getting a lot of love around here. My favorite line on here is, if you just give it some time, I can give you the play. I've been getting Amazon in my prime. You can get it today. Love that. Love that. That was clever. I like that too. These niggas played with my time for the last time. Listen. Okay. 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 For the last time. I also like the song Can't Fade. The production is great, and you also get a fire verse from Nimlo. And I love the line, I got some niggas that don't play ground, but they down to pull up, swing, and slide, you know? Like, I like what he did there. All right, now I'm going to set my bronzer one thing at a time. Gone are the days of setting my entire face with setting powder and more powders. I said previously all over this episode that my favorite element of songwriting is storytelling, and we get that on this album with Three's story, which is basically, you know, the age-old story of, you know, someone on their come up, you know, doing what they can and, you know, on their rise, and people not liking it and deciding to do something about it, which that's how it always is. It's like you're always okay till you start doing better than. And then now you're a problem. Kind of like the Dave Chappelle skit. Calvin, I'm so proud of him. Let's rob that nigga.
I experienced that firsthand, man. But anyways.
To it then when Third says, when people go out of their way to not see what you're doing, and they know you, child. Talk about it. But I tell y'all what Glorilla say, if you tired of me, you gonna be exhausted, bitch. When it's all said and done, you gonna be fucking exhausted. Star of the Ghetto is out now on all streaming platforms. I've, of course, tagged it in the description box. Give it a listen if you haven't already, and let me know what you think in the comments. And so now I'm just going to go where I haven't already put powder and put the Huda Beauty setting powder in the shade Cinnamon Bun. And I like using a little fluffy brush and just, so I said, where I didn't already have powder. I'm going to set my makeup using the MAC Fix Plus, and people always ask, how do I have an old bottle that's continuously full? I'll just give y'all a secret. I buy a regular bottle and I just refill it into here. I refuse to let this go. All right, Saints and Aints, it is time for my favorite part of my makeup routine, the lip combo. Today we're going MAC and Danessa Myricks. Something real simple because again, the eye is doing a lot. I feel like the blush is low key too, but we gonna make it work. I like starting off with a very sharp pencil. Now I'm going to use the MAC lip glass in the shade Bow. It's a nice little pink. Alright, because y'all know I like a glossy line. Just something about a flat line and then a glossy lip just don't sit well with me. I'm going to use the Danessa Myricks Colorfix in the shade Clear. Just going to use a smidge here and just go around like it gives it a real, just ups that gloss factor. I like it. Right, now we're just going to clean this up because you know we got a little here and here. Oh, this is a lot. Okay, that was perfect. I didn't want the lip to be too crazy on this. I like it, really. Like it, real like natural lip. This is like the quintessential to me MAC lip. This is kind of how Cinnamon used to hit on me, but Cinnamon had more of like a goldish tone to it, but yeah, I like it. All right, Saints and Aints, this is the final look. I love how everything turned out. All music and makeup today can be found tagged in the description box. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the latest in music and makeup. Till next time, Saints and Aints, love you, bye.